Hey, Aslia, this video is for you. How do you paint hair? How do you paint skin or create skin tones? How do you paint hands? How do you paint? These are questions that are constantly, repeatedly asked everywhere. But let me tell you something. Artists, bear in mind, whatever you're trying to paint is only a bundle of shapes and colors. There is no hair, no skin, no hands, only shapes and colors. If you're painting from a reference photo, that's what you should identify. A face is only a distorted circle and a nose a deformed triangle. In fact, the difficulty of a task lies in the level of distortion and the size of the thing you want to paint. And the thing is, the hair is found most difficult to paint by many artists because it consists of very small and very thin rectangles, or even circles if it's curly. And for that, what I recommend is to use a very thin brush. So after you've identified all the various forms in the painting you're doing, let's get the colors in. I won't get into detail about color theory, or else the video will be too long. And anyway, identifying and mixing colors aren't that hard. It's all about trial and error. Don't be afraid to experiment and make mistakes. It's going to be fine. Something you have to know is all colors lead to brown, except black and white. Yeah. Anyway, I've noticed that the real difficulty about putting colors in is the blending process. So how do you make sure that the colors blend smoothly while still keeping the shape clear and distinct? Here's my trick. Identify the three main colors. First, the basic one, like red, green, brown, you name it. Then, a tint and a shade, which means a lighter color and a darker color, but which should be related to the basic color. For her hair, I used a basic brown. Then, for the tint, I chose yellow, but mixed with a tiny bit of red, so that it's more of a warm yellow to match the brown. Then, for the shade, I used dark brown, for which I simply mixed brown and black. For the shawl, to get that garnet color, I mixed red, burnt sienna, and a little of black for the basic color. And for the tint, I simply added white, while for the shade, I added even more black. Now, using only those three related colors, start painting. First, identify where you want your colors to be and apply them normally. But then, to blend them, there has to be a transition between the colors. And for that, you simply have to mix the colors among themselves and produce colors in between those three colors, if you understand what I mean. From this lighter garnet color to this dark, very dark garnet color, I gradually added more black and more black and more black. Thus, in the end, you are left with more than the three original colors. Of course, when you apply the paint, make sure that you're not pressing the brush into the canvas. For blending, only a tiny bit of pressure is necessary. Sometimes it's even like it's barely touching the canvas. So this is my method, and of course you may or may not agree with me. Oh, and one thing before you actually start painting, it really helps to apply a coat of paint of the lightest color you can identify in your painting. Especially if you're working with a canvas, it makes the surface just less rough and more like kind of easier to work with. For example, here, before I applied all this garnet color thing, I applied a very light yellow color on the whole surface. It just gives you a base for you to start, and it already gives you an idea of the colors you'll be dealing with, warm or cool, light or dark. Anyway, the important thing is to keep practicing. Find the technique you're most at ease with, and don't despair. Painting takes a lot of patience. If you have any questions or video suggestions, whether it be on color theory or whatever, feel free to mention it in the comment box below or just send me a message. I'm mainly doing these how-to videos for my art friends because the deadline for submitting the portfolio and the painting is getting closer, and since we won't be able to see each other before the exposition, I'm trying to give away my best advice through the most effective medium, which is YouTube. So that's all. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye!